So Wendy and I rated our pantries and our cupboards, and we wanted to find a couple of things that we could discuss about the different packaging. When you're looking at a carbohydrate, you're looking for a whole grain, you're looking for a good option for those grains, noodles, and things that you're going to make for a meal. And we did not have any regular pasta, so we had to print out the nutrition off of the internet for a just regular white pasta. So that would be on the lowest end of the spectrum, right? Because we noticed looking at these, not all of them have the same serving size.
And all have the same serving size, right?
So that's important. Let's look at the serving size, because it may look like something has more fiber or more protein in it than something else, but that might be because it's double the serving size.
Right.
So some options. Looking at this, I'm going to grab one of the highest, best grains, and I think you have a quinoa one over there too, right? So
the brown rice.
Yep. So I would say the best out of these on here, as far as a good grain, you have a good wild rice blend. I have a package here. This is what I use mostly, and it's the extra thick rolled oats. What this is actually whole grain oats. That's the only thing in this package. So we use this for our oatmeal. We use this in different pancakes. We throw some oats in pancakes. We make our own granola bars with this. We make just granola with this, and can use this for those different things. In whole grain oats, it is a half a cup. So that's a half a cup, and we've got 6 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber in a half cup of oats. So you throw that with a couple of nuts, some berries, and some honey for breakfast, and you'll be full and well fueled and well focused for a good duration.
And so remember, so a carb, right, is partnered. The oats have both protein and fiber. It's got those two friends that make it a really great carbohydrate that sticks with you, slow release of energy throughout the day.
Right.
One other thing about oats, some recipes call for oat flour.
Yeah.
You just take those and put them in the blender or food processor.
And grind them up, and I'll just show you here. So the ingredients we have, then we look at our quinoa. And in this bag of quinoa is just quinoa. It's tri-colored, so there's different colors of quinoa, but in here you're also, the friends in here are protein of 6 and fiber of 3, and that's in a quarter cup, so just one.
So if you were to double that.
Yep, if you were to double that, which, you know, a lot of these have a half a cup, then you're looking at 12 grams of protein and 6 grams of fiber.
Yep.
So.
And this is saying, this says brown rice and organic quinoa. So again, 5 and 2, 5 protein, 2 fiber. But if we were to double it to get to a half a cup, 10 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber. When we're looking for rice, sometimes we think white rice is good for us. Unfortunately, the white is not as nutrient dense and it's good for us as the wild and whole grain brown rice and other whole grain rices. So this is whole grain, extra long grain rice. And it does come with some fiber. No, protein.
This is white rice, right?
Plain white rice, long grain rice, yep. And it only has protein. It doesn't have any fiber. So it's a little bit emptier than,
right.
More of a filler.
Right, yep.
Not as nutrient dense as, quick digest, quick floods the body.
And a lot of times white rice, whatever you pair with white rice, you'll go back for seconds and thirds, right? Because it won't fill you up. So a lot of times people that have white rice and they have the buffets with all the different, you're piling up the white rice, getting some buffets, piling up more white rice because it doesn't have the filling qualities that a more whole grain rice would have. And you have that over there too, right? Right. Yeah. So that's a good rice option, is more of the whole grain rice. Looking at noodles then, because there's a lot of different noodles out there, and we've got a couple of different ones. We did print out the regular just white noodles, and we've got a couple of other ones here. So in order, as we look, I think our white, and we looked here, we've got a whole grain noodle, we've got the veggie noodles that you'll see, and then there's a noodle that's made with chickpeas that's called a bonza noodle. So if you look in your grocery aisles, there's been a lot more noodles made. This one is quinoa as well, right? So you can have noodles made with quinoa.
It's rice and quinoa.
Yeah, rice and quinoa noodle. So a lot of times what I like to tell my clients is if you're used to the regular white noodles and your kids are used to them and that's what you have, and you're like, oh my gosh, if I go to a whole wheat or if I go to a different option, my family isn't gonna like it or whatever. I always say mix them. So
ease your way in.
Ease your way in. So maybe you do half of the white and half of the whole grain noodle instead of going completely whole grain at the same time. So just looking at these, as we talked about before, it's always looking at the ingredients, right? Looking at the ingredients, number one, what is in it? What are you eating? Looking at the serving size, and then we're really looking at the protein and the fiber content in them. Right.
The first, like what you might have in your cupboard, the cremette, just regular white pasta. If you were just to look at the nutrition facts, you will see that a half a cup does have 7 grams of protein and 2 grams of fiber. So you might think that, well, like, that's not so bad, right? Unfortunately, remember, this is just made with wheat or seminola, durum, whatever that is, wheat. So that means essentially, right, they've taken that grain, they stripped away everything, all the good parts of it, and then added some vitamins and minerals back into it. Yep. So it's not quite as nutritious and good for you as a whole grain pasta.
Right. Yep. And then the bonza that's out there too, it does have more fiber. This is made of chickpeas, and it has some pea protein added to it. And you're looking at serving size says there's 4 servings per container, and the size is 2 ounces. So that's 2 ounces is about a quarter cup, right?
Yeah,
I think
right,
2. Yep, so 2 ounces is a quarter cup, and you're looking at in here, in a quarter cup we have 13 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber. So that's a good, and these, if you do try these, I've used these before in chili and such, they cook faster. So you don't want to soak them for a long time because then they'll get mushy. So it takes practice, right? And if you're looking for a different option, it just takes practice to do that.
This is a quinoa, kind of red and white quinoa macaroni, and at first it's corn-free, but if we were to look at the label, the first ingredient is white rice flour. So that's not the best, right? If it was a brown rice flour, that would be better. And then it has the quinoa white and red flour. So it's not a horrid option,
right?
And it has 5 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber. But again, this cooks really fast, and it might be a good alternative if you're trying to ease the kids into something different, because it tastes just like regular pasta.
And it's kind of fun because it's 2 different colors and it's little tubes. So that might be better than the box macaroni and cheese.
Right. Yeah, it literally cooks in like 4 minutes, I think. So it's not horrid, but not the best of it.
Yep, so
this is a brown rice ramen. So I as a kid ate ramen noodles, and especially in college. And I know a lot.
I think we had the ramen noodle cupboard in college. Like everybody would go home and they'd come back with like and there'd just be like the cupboard. That's the ramen noodle cupboard. Yeah, I know.
So that's doubly horrid for a lot of reasons.
I know.
Not just because of the noodles, but that packet of
whatever's
MSG in there. But so anyway, rice ramen, the brown rice ramen that made with millet and brown rice are a really great alternative. There is no packet. So cooking these, you can cook them in a low sodium chicken broth, right, without MSG. You can also, I use these just plain and tossed with some fresh vegetables and a little olive oil, sprinkle some cheese, but they're a great alternative to the regular ramen.
Looking at your options, you have an array of options. We just say be mindful of the ingredients, be mindful of the serving size, look at the protein, and look at the fiber that's with it. So the good carbohydrates have those friends of protein and fiber. And if you have any questions on anything, or you're like, hey, is this a good option, and you want to take a photo and toss it into the comments, you can certainly do that, and we'd be happy to comment on any of that if you want other ideas. But I don't know if there's anything else.
Yeah. So know your carbs.
Right? And it's not a 4-letter word.
No.